Hey everyone, welcome back to another reading. For this reading, we're going to be taking a look at the sign of Scorpio. Rather, we're going to be taking a look at the collective energies through the lens of scorpionic energy that is coming into the collective at this time. So that's pretty much how we're going to read these astro signs. As you know, though, these readings are timeless and signless, so you need not actually have any significant scorpionic placements in your natal chart or to be watching this video at the time that I'm publishing it in order for the messages to be for you. If it resonates, then chances are it's for you. And if it doesn't, I would invite you to take a step back and then come back later and see whether the energies are more recognizable. Because remember, we're not necessarily reading um, for these natal charts and such. We're looking at the collective energies, which we're all a part of, through the lens of the energetic frequencies of Scorpio that are coming through. So we're going to be taking a look at how that energy is affecting us or, what opportunities they provide for us. If you'd like to work more personally with me, you know exactly where to find me at the Etsy link on the page that you're watching. All right, let's jump in. So, guys, hi. One of the first things I wanted to make sure I let you guys know is we've been having a lot of Lemurian energies present at this time. So I know some of you actually do a lot of work with our galactic cousins, and maybe you're sensitive to energies coming in or just changes in the environment. And so whether or not you are, I do want to give a shout out to Lemurian energies. So I'm going to put this up here. So if you guys would like to pause, you can give a good read. This is from the Ascension cards by Diana Cooper, I believe. And this card keeps coming out because every morning I pull cards that I feel guided towards pulling, and this card has been literally refusing to go back in the deck for quite a few days. So, and also the energies of fire, which makes sense because we're going through a lot of transmutation, a lot of initiation energies as well. All right, so let's look at, oh yeah, thanks. They're like, hello, don't forget the actual Lemurian Oracle deck, right? Beyond Lemuria. So if you guys follow this channel, thanks again, then you may remember me often saying that I often feel guided to use these cards, the Beyond Lemuria Oracle deck, whenever I feel like I need to look in to the higher frequencies. And usually at the level of the field that I like to use these cards for, we're talking about energetic codes and frequencies, initiations, things like that. So let's see what you know what? Yeah, this makes sense. A lot of heart awakenings is going on right now. So if you've been feeling moved to cultivate the heart space, whatever that looks like for you guys, because I do feel that some of you may be currently asked to do breathing exercises to open up the chest area, right? So notice in that language, we're not even talking about chakras. We're not talking about the cosmic heart or the cosmic Christ consciousness. Those words aren't even being used. It's just a different way of it's the same thing, but it's just being presented to you in the language that you need to hear it. So some of you, like I said, you're already receiving the direction to work on that heart space area, even if the language is so not even mentioning the heart. Like, oh, let's do breathing to open up the chest cavity, right? And also, some of you may be hearing more transparent language, like let's open up the heart area, the heart, the consciousness within our heart, whatever the language is. And so, I would like to invite you to continue working that way. The guides are also saying some of you are being directed through the use of color therapy to work on this area. So, again, you may or may not even know that that's an area that you're targeting. I do feel that the colors that are being asked to go into this area do include the color white. And there's actually a color that I see coming in that my conscious mind awareness, um, based on just my learnings on this planet, I can't, I know that I don't know what that color is because it doesn't exist on this planet, so to speak, or I haven't seen it, right? At my age, it hasn't appeared. But whenever there is a frequency that is not necessarily one that we would identify with this planet, and it comes through as a color in my mind, it always comes through in the same kind of, it looks like an off gray, white, violet kind of hue kind of thing. And that's usually my sign that this is a color that we don't have on the planet. So that frequency is coming into the heart space for a lot of you guys. So just remember that, we're here in an artificial environment that we call the planet, and everything, originates from outside here. And so we just allow these things to come through. And that's why it's always important to surrender when you make the decision on the inside, really, to pursue or to be placed on the path of your highest and most optimal health and well-being, then that's when the surrender occurs. That's when you kind of take your hands off the wheel and you get into the receptive mode. You allow information to come to you and through you, and you allow yourself to be moved, and you allow things to come into your life, and of course you allow things to fall away. And if you are exercising way too much control, either through your consistent focus on it, always trying to monitor, or just maybe your belief that you know what needs to be done, then you're actively going to fight against and resist what does want to come into you. And a lot of things that are coming in for us are what we would term inconceivable. We don't have it within our human framework at this time in collective consciousness to understand or to even conceive of some of the things that are being received. And so, for example, that color that I just told you. And so, and that's only one thing that I was able to pick up using my perception. Imagine all the things that are coming in that my perception that lay even beyond my perception. And they're like, hello, right? So let's take a look at speaking of beyond, let's look at these cards. What's what's being brought to our attention at this time? Yeah, Mount Shasta. And two more. Hopefully. I knew it. Okay. Violet Flame actually was something I wanted to mention earlier and I didn't. But yeah, so if you are not aware of the violet flame, usually associated with the Ascended Master Saint Germain, then go ahead and do so. You don't have to really look that far, but go ahead and take a look online with it. It's basically a frequency that helps you to transmute the energies within your field, the lower frequencies. Now, we usually think of the violet flame in terms of transmuting karma and all of that. I would say, just from your local Janelli bean, I would suggest not even to get so discursively involved in what it's actually transmuting. Just know that it's transmuting lower frequencies, because the more that we get into the discourse, like, oh, the karma and then the this and the that and the quarter, and then that's you trying to put too much of your own mind and your own understanding of it based on, what's already here in the material world. And right now, what you should be doing instead is creating the conditions within your mindset and within your field to be open to receiving even the things that are not already on this planet. So this is the true healing, receiving that which is in your highest interest, your optimal state of health and well-being, and then you release it so that spirit can without your own interference bring that to you. And some of those modalities or forms or, and states of mind that are coming in, you may not even be able to conceive of at this time. All right. So when I see this Mount Shasta card, it gives me the sign. I mean, it usually comes with the energy of like ley lines and whatnot. But what's coming through right now, though? Let me just take a quick, a deeper look at it for the message. Mm. Okay. So this is a nod to the frequency of energies that are coming onto the planet. And remember, when we're talking about frequency, we're talking about energy. And then we have to, ask, well, how is that energy being made manifest or being given materiality or being brought into form or, being organized in a way that it becomes physical? All of those gentle ways are saying the same thing. But what is it going to manifest for you? A higher frequency of energy will manifest differently for different people. For some people, they need to see, you know, lights in the skies and start questioning things and, and all of that. For some people, they need to see something in their lettuce, in their salad, or their food and notice something. For some people, they have to experience it through lucid dreaming, right? So the point is that the form that this newness and these energetic frequencies take, really, in a sense, it's almost like what it takes for other people is kind of none of our business in a sense unless we it is within our path to be inspired or moved to use that within ourselves to promote our own self-healing and whatnot, right? So this is the time when we start um, allowing our higher self to reach down. It's always our higher self is always reaching down. Actually, we are our higher selves. It's just that we need to make the choice to identify with spirit slash higher self slash greater perspective slash love, right? Slash source, so that we're not identifying with what's going on planet Earth, like the learning of the Earth, sociocultural programming, things like that, because that actively gets in the way of your own frequencies coming through you for your health and well-being, right? So this card here, the She of the Lotus, is giving a little bit of a heads up. It's giving a little bit of not a warning, but a little bit of a it's really closer to the word heads up, but advisory, that's the word. Yes, yes, yes. It's giving an advisory to you that understand that when you are receiving so much frequency so in such an abundance in the way that it's coming onto the earth right now and into your fields, that again, as you know, on this channel, it's going to kick up whatever's going on within you, right? It's going to make people go bonkers. Now it makes people go bonkers because a lot of people don't have any idea of their inner world. They have no idea of the things that are motivating them. The cognitive dissonance is really high, right? So they don't reflect at all. They're just moving on autopilot and on programming. And so therefore, when they truly get triggered by the light, the frequency that comes to dispel, to make things clear, of course, the first thing they're going to see is their own shadow pop up. But if you're not even in a space to receive it, like you block it out, you're just adding your own resistance um, to this energy that wants to come through, and then you've got war within, right? Then you have the sleepless nights. You've got the breaking out with the rashes. You've got getting sick. You've got all this stuff because it's internal conflict between the light that you are and the shadow that you're carrying. But if you remember that you are all that is, which means you're light and shadow, and that anything that you witness in your own shadow shouldn't be a fear, a point of fear, but should instead be like, oh, okay, well, that's coming up. All right, well, thank you for coming up. I will make some changes here, and I'm going to accept that this is a part of me. This is what's going on because otherwise it couldn't come up. If you spot it, you got it. If you don't remember it, well, that's just part of, the occupational hazard of being on Earth and going through having to veil and the forgetfulness and stuff. But it doesn't mean it doesn't belong to you in some way, right? That it isn't striking a chord within you. If you have the chord to be struck, then then maybe that means that something's coming up for a reason, and the reason is not to push it away or to blame it or to create disharmony within yourself, but instead to take the path of least resistance, which is to acknowledge that something is coming up, something's making you quote unquote upset. And even a little bit of upset is the presence of upset. I laugh because, yeah, that's just so funny, but it's true. And so once you register that that has come up, you give it up to something higher than you. And that looks like, just for some of you, you may say prayer. For some of you, you may let me journal, whatever the words are. You open it up to a larger perspective that doesn't come from outside of you, but it's from inside of you. So you make time to say that simple prayer, set that intention to better understand what is coming up for you. And part of the process of that being revealed to you or shown to you in greater detail may come through other people, but it need not always, right? You always go to yourself first, and then you allow the answers to come to you. And when those answers are coming to you, you allow them to show you. So sometimes it may be hard to take feedback, but if that's the form, there are many forms that your illumination can come. But if it comes through the form of feedback from someone else, and you notice what's the defensiveness arise, then you need to take a look at that defensiveness too, right? So anyway. So Spirit is saying that now is the time to pull out all of the tricks that you guys have been learning in terms of dealing with yourself, in terms of knowing when to release, how to process. Now's the time to pull all of those things out for yourself. All right. And in fact, they're drawing my attention to look at this card, Soul Star Chakra. Literally at the bottom, it says what? Merging with the divine. And if you follow this channel, then you know that the divine is you because you're all that is. You just are temporarily in a smaller state of being right here. It's purely temporary. And so you perceive of yourself as being separate from everybody else and from source and the other side and this. But let me tell you, as someone who works with energy, if you really knew how truthful it is to say that there is no separation and there is no secrecy at all, you would probably wish you didn't know that much. And you're like, let me have a little bit of forgetting, right? It's to the point that, if you even think about somebody energetically, they're in your field. So just trust me on this. So please continue to move towards allowing more of your own self slash the divine slash the God within slash source slash whatever term works for you, whatever term works for you, because there's so many terms on this planet. It's just you. All right. All right. So let's continue with this reading. I'm all here trying to rush, thinking I'm taking long, and it says patience, stillness. Okay. Hold on. Let me get these cards going. Oh, wow. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely am a little sleepy. And I've been doing a lot of work like energetic work processing. It's look at me, I can't even energy I've been doing a lot of processing of energies. Whew. And something tells me that you guys have been doing so as well. Now, as I pull these cards here, I'm immediately being shown blockages that have been so fossilized within some of your fields. What's the word? Crystallized, but there's another word. What do they talk about the pineal gland? Calcified. Yeah. It's almost like that calcified kind of oh, like this coral kind of. Oh, sorry, that's not coral. Sorry, that's some type of crystal. My bad, my bad. But anyway, yeah, it's like. By the way, that's the form that I mean, that sugar takes. You can see sugar as crystals in calcifications and crystals in the energetic anatomy. So that's a shout out to some of you who do need to modify your consumption of crystal, yeah, ooh. Oh, someone out here, and we'll leave that. Take that too, whatever that that means for some of you. That means something there for you too. But yes, sugar. So be mindful of that. But I do see a lot of calcification in the field. That calcification, like I told you, in your energetic anatomy can show up as sugar in that can represent sugar. We also know how that can be calcification of the pineal gland, but it can also be referring to in the physical body plaque, in the arteries, things like that, throughout different parts of the body. Build up. Thank you guys. Build up, build up. So we're in the energetic anatomy at this time. So clearly, you guys know I'm not a licensed medical practitioner. I don't work at the physical level of the field. I do medical stuff in the non-physical bodies of the field. And we have a beautiful team of medical professionals around us helping as well. We've got shamans, we've got energy beings from other star systems. They're saying a kaleidoscope of energetics flowing in at any given time to assist you, right? You guys, each one of you has a full medical team, full medical staff of your own that walk around with you and assist you as needed. So please, understand that healing can be done at any given time. You ask for it, ask and it will be done. But remember that when you ask your team, your higher self, your spirit team, when you ask for healing to occur for you, you release. Because the reason why you have to release is because you have an idea of what healing is that is out of alignment, most likely, probably 99.9% out of alignment with what true healing actually is. We all understand that true healing is nothing more than healing of your perception. That's it. It has nothing to do with the body, it has nothing to do with anything. It's your own mindset, right? And then we'd have to go into all other things about that, but just trust me when I say that. And so when you ask spirit to provide healing for you, they're going to provide multidimensional healing. And why that's important to mention is because a lot of people, they come in and they say, I want to heal, and then they will list some ailment that they have, either at the psychological level, God bless, or the neurological level, or the physiological level, or the physical level. And then they expect a wand to be kind of waved, and then boom, it's gone. But they don't understand that what is occurring in the physical field and the psychological and all of that that I just said, those are symptoms. Those are those are productions of made manifest, they're manifestations of a core actual an actual core root issue that needs to be healed, and that is an issue that has to do with perception. So when you ask spirit to heal you, you must release your idea of what that looks like so that they can bombard you with modalities. So some of you may think that you're suffering from list any physical malady, but when your spirit team or your friendly local reader, hi, slash healer slash everything, looks into your energy field, we're seeing pure emotional body issues. And so your spirit guide may start to bring information and healing modalities such as box medical, what is it, box flower essences, which does nothing for your physical body. You've got a gash. You can't put box healing remedies, flower essences and stuff on there and expect it to brrr. No, right? But it will work wonders for your emotional body. And we understand that the physical body is the last body to be affected. So by the time your physical body is being affected and your mind and your what do you want to say? Your psychology and all of that, though because things that were already at the higher levels of the field, the other levels of your field, like your mental field, your emotional field, all of those, your catheric template, all those things have already bled through into the physical body. So that's why we need not only medical doctors, but we need the other doctors. The medical doctors cannot heal you, the physical ones. They help preserve your body, which will keep you on this planet, unless it's just not in the stars for that to be the case. They will introduce physical things for the body, but the true healing happens in the non-physical bodies that you have, and you have many of those, and then the physical body, right? So if you see my hand, you're gonna see like layers of my body, my hand actually moving, right? And so it's very important to know that in that energetic anatomy, you've got similar things. You've got obstructions, you've got tears, you've got rips, you've got all sorts of stuff, you've got plaque, and that's what energy workers work on. And they use different modalities, whether it's light therapy, sound therapy, whether it's sacred geometry, there countless countless methods, distance healing, Reiki, all of it, and some you have probably not even heard of yet. And so to assist you on the not in the non-physical fields. And um, you might be surprised that when you go to your lovely energy workers, when they see things in your energy, and your medical intuitives, you guys get on that. They'll look right into your body like X-ray. They have, those are their gifts, right? So they'll look right in, and they will help you in many cases to address something before it gets into the physical body. So that's why when we talk about preventative medicine, it's really, the future lies with understanding that it is in the non-physical field that you truly can get to preventative medicine. So anyway, I had to mention that to a lot of you guys. And the reason why I had to mention that to a lot of you guys is because as I'm seeing here in this card here, the message is coming through that a lot of you, yay, I'm so excited to hear this. and I'm getting the elbow for some reason. So that's to help somebody identify that this message is also for you. But a lot of you are going to be mass taught how to heal your own bodies. So you're going to start seeing a lot of miracle workers come out over the next few generations. Now, don't even try to understand what I mean by that, because chances are you're going to take what you've been taught a miracle is and you're going to apply to that. That is not the correct definition at all. So we'll just leave that. This is a moment where the message is coming through. You accept it, you read into your mind, and you allow spirit to come after later and to further explain that to you so that you understand a true definition of what it means, especially as it applies to you. Now, I do see a lot of you are going to be learning how to manipulate energy on this planet, right? To a larger degree, and that's pretty awesome. I do see that some of you are going to be put to rest here in order to receive that. I am picking up on some of the energetic practices that you will need to go through in your sleep in order to, and upgrades and stuff that will, that wouldn't be fun to have in the physical, at the physical level of the field, but they will do it for you in the non-physical levels of the field. And if that's for you, you're going to receive no, and some of you already know this. So I know a lot of you because you have placed orders with me. God bless you. So I know a lot of you already are like, oh yeah, I know my guides have said this and that. Um, I do see a lot of you are going to be prepped for that work in the form of teaching you how to better shield yourself, to better navigate reality in ways, because a lot of the principles that we take for granted here on this earth in the physical plane also apply in the non-physical, right? We wouldn't just leave our front door open, because then, like, dude, you're gonna have all sorts of bugs flying in, bees, all sorts of things, random raccoons if you're trying to, I don't know, during the day or whatever. But also some random stranger who doesn't have your um health and well-being in mind, who probably wants to steal, they could just walk right in. What are you doing? You wouldn't do that here, so why would you do that in the non-physical when you start doing your lucid dreamings and your dream walking and whatever people are doing, you're shifting into different timescapes and whatnot. You'd be surprised at what people are already able to do, accessing things well beyond the physical. And so that's why you're going to start to see, if you haven't seen already, just this large disparity between people who are still so stuck in this 3D matrix of, well, what does our government say? And what do the institutions say? And, well, I can't see how, that's almost so far away now that it's almost starting to just look 2D to a lot of people, because a lot of people are already living these lives here. They're already connecting with our galactic cousins. They've been for decades. People are already time traveling. They're already manipulating time. People are already consciously time jumping. People are already, astral walking, whatever. There's so many things. People are already healing, diseases and stuff that uh some people can't even afford treatment to do, and at the physical level, and the physical level treatments will probably kill them, right? There's some people who are just using their mind to heal a lot of those things. Now, have you heard of those people? No, because a lot of them have been silenced, labs burned down, right? And some people already do this, but they don't feel the drive, they don't have the mission, the responsibility, so to speak, to be made known, make it known to large scale people. You won't find them on social media. If, in fact, a lot of wise people, a lot of people who really just understand their wisdom and such, understand that if someone needs to find them, that person will find them, because the universe will place that person in their path. So if you're thinking, well, how do I advertise this and advertise that? I mean, what are we doing? Right? So right now we're seeing a lot of bridges that are being uh, traversed right now, where people are moving from one level of consciousness that to higher levels of consciousness. And with higher levels of consciousness comes higher levels of learning, more that you can do on this planet. And it will be the power of the mind and the heart. that takes you there. If your heart is not online, if your heart is not decalcified, if your heart is not activated, if your heart is not healthy, you're just going to be another person with metaphysical abilities. And we see how people with talents and skills and stuff can still do things that hurt others because the heart isn't on. So turn on your heart light and bring me a higher love, right? All of that. So again, as you continue to make this consciousness jump, you're going to start to look back at the world that you're leaving, and that world is going to start to look super 2D to you. Eventually, it's going to be like come like paper and flit away to the point that when you hear some people talking about all you're hearing is their own limitations, and it gets to the point where it's like, why are you're asking, you question yourself about them? Why are they choosing to suffer? Why are they putting themselves through suffering? And a great analogy is how a lot of us, you know, a lot of us, we look at even our past selves, our younger selves, and we look at others around us in our friend circles, family circles, community, online, and we look at people and we could see clearly the lack of love. Dude, you're being breadcrumbed, you're being gaslit. Why are you letting this happen? Why do you keep going back to this relationship? At some point, the more you heal, the more you could just look at someone and see the lack of love that they have for themselves. And then you question to yourself, why do they hate themselves so much? But you have to remember that when you were in that zone, that from coming from that perspective, that limitation of perspective, that you weren't seeing the self-hatred. And maybe somebody older and wiser would have asked you, well, why do you hate yourself? And you're like, why do I hate myself if I just have preferences? Right? Right? All sorts of things. So long story short, get ready for shifts. You're already well underway. Program shifts, shifts that are going to, if you look back even 6 months from now, you'll be like, holy moly, I made a big jump. And what you're going to start seeing is not only more skill sets coming in, but you're going to be better able to see within yourself spaces in need of healing. There are probably going to be modalities that you will no longer resonate with. We see this with people moving from certain medical practices to other medical practices, from one physical medical practice to another, thinking that, oh well, this medical practice is healthier than this, or I'd rather this than that, right? You'll see some people actually seek alternative medical practices instead of the more traditional ones. You'll probably see people just find just different modalities altogether. It'll Things will just change. You may start to see that people change the way they approach healing altogether, their own healing. So for example, if you have a headache, most people will be reaching for that Midol, or they'll be reaching for Tylenol or Advil or just whatever. But the more you start to better understand your body, understand what is causing that headache, there's always a cause for the headache. It is not just in the physical body. You understand that, you start looking within the field, and you will have the skill set. Spirit is teaching all of you guys this mass teaching, like I said. Now that you're able to receive and relate and understand, right? Some of you will probably be teaching others. And some of you are going to be way showers within your own family, if you're not already. Not to proselytize, because if you looked at, where am I pointing? I don't know. If you looked at the weekly post that we just posted today, it was made very clear. And maybe that's why I needed to post that, because now they're talking about teaching a lot of us to heal and all this stuff. You're not here to save people. You cannot save anybody. You cannot rescue anybody. The best you can do is focus on your own self-healing, removing bit by bit these blockages. The more that you heal your own mindset, you're literally just removing blockages from your energetic anatomy. And so therefore the flow of source energy is restored. And it's just going to flood right out of you. And it's going to draw people to you, because in you, whether they're aware of it at a conscious level or not, they're going to be sensing the presence of home. Home is source, home is love. So when you allow more love to come through you or come to you through your own choice to align with spirit, to identify with spirit, you are a spirit, you're not a body. So if you keep idolizing and identifying with the physical world, you're literally blocking off flow, right? And that leads to illness and atrophy of the physical body and starvation. It's deprivation at its finest. So the more you start to love yourself, I accept myself, radical self-forgiveness, radical self-acceptance, right? Self-compassion. This doesn't mean just allowing yourself to be on your worst behavior, right? No, it means to whatever occurs for you to give yourself the grace to understand it. Oh, this occurred. Let's look at it. And that takes you out of reaction mode and into reflection, then response. And that allows spirit. And you always know anything that happens, you give it up to spirit. Because, and that's not even trying to be religious about anything. What it basically means is, hey, I'm at limited perspective on this planet. Limited. I can't see beyond this. And so I give it up to my own higher self, who is me, but at a higher dimension. And they could see more and then drop that energy in to help you, right? So you're working with you. That's it. And so then you have a wider perspective, a greater perspective, more insight, more wisdom into whatever the issue is that's going on for you. And then you're allowing your own stuff to come through, and people are going to perceive that from you. And so people are going to gravitate towards you. And then it's not up to you to just choose to just help everybody. No, you ask your higher self, please work through me, God, whatever your term is. You can still use the names that you'd like, but please work through me to assist so and so if it is in your will to do so. Because when we keep thinking we can just go and help everybody, yay, help everybody, we may have the heart in the right place and all that, but we don't know the proper application. Yeah, everyone could use more money, but if you give a lot of money to certain people, they'll destroy themselves. And so instead, you ask your higher self, you ask your wisdom, you ask God to be of service to that person. And if it is in the will of God for you to do so, your simple praying for this person's health and well-being is enough to ensure that something will come in to assist this person. By the way, they're already receiving assistance, just like you are, we all are. Everybody has spirit teams, everybody has it, right? But spirit will be like, oh, thank you. We will look into it. And if it is determined that you do have something of value to physically be of service to them, whether it's your time, your resources, then so you will be moved to do so. So this is not you forcing yourself into someone, onto someone, proselytizing, giving people ultimatums, this and that, because that's just you going off left field. And that's when you put you in there and you forget that no, spirit slash light slash source slash love works through you to assist other people. Okay. So with these new skill sets is going to come in for greater information about how to use it. And that includes the ethics behind it, right? And it includes balance. There it is, the scale. Balance of the ego. A lot of people in the spiritual community, we see it all over the internet. We understand they get caught in the trap of spiritual significance. That I am better than other people. I'm here to be this great spiritual teacher and this and that and blah, blah, blah and da-da-da. And I healed you. And yes, we will refer to ourselves as healers and light workers and star seeds and all of that because that is the function that we play down here. But the reality is that we are all one. And the minute that we are no longer in this environment, this earthly plane like this, or just other planes where low self-worth and illness and all that stuff is, where we're all back in at the equilibrium, who is there to save and rescue and heal? And there's no need. Because as God created everybody, you are not lacking in any way. It is your perception of lack because of the veil, right? There's a veil, so you can enjoy life in a, your soul can enjoy the life of limitation and to experience what that would be like if I forgot who I was, right? But you don't have to stay that way. And actually, the hope is, will I remember myself? When you remember who you are, you realize, oh, what am I doing? I'm acting like an ant on here. No, I am a mini God on here. I am a child of the divine. I am all that is, just temporarily in an individuated state. And it's actually more arrogant to think that you are not God because you are inside and of God. You are the very makeup of God. If you are not God, then you're saying, I'm outside of God, God and source and all of that. But you see, the definition problem is that people on this planet, um, if you look at Earth history and actually get the real history of it, right? Then you will see, yes, I don't want to use the word tampering and whatnot because that will trigger some people who are kind of in the conspiracy theory place and they kind of let it go too much, right? In like energetically with their mindset, they need correction, perception, correction as well, right? But the point is that we have been trained to worship. There is no worshiping. There's brothers and sisters. That's it. Whether in whatever being you look like, whatever body you are in, and whatever dimension you are in, the human body just looks this way because of the physics of this planet. But there are other beings, and there are other galactic cousins who walk amongst us who pretty much are so close in frequency and just the way their bodies are that they look like us, but they're not the same. They're not Terrans. They're not, right? So anyway, the world has a lot to learn, but you have to choose to go through the self first, because the self is basic information detached from the programming that you've been taught. It's not real. It's control based. And when you get make that decision to turn back to self, that includes stepping into greater integrity. That means taking on more personal or not even taking it on, but acknowledging more of the reality that is your agency, that is your choice, that you've been making choices, but you have been made to believe that you have not been making choices. It's called manufactured consent. Anybody who takes mass communications class or marketing class alone, that's enough to let you know, right? But there's so many other ways to just understand that. So critical thinking has gone by the wayside. In fact, a lot of things that inform critical thinking can become limitations upon the mindset. So you want to have ideological flexibility along with what you're doing. But what the guides are saying is, see, here I am, I'm trying to list all these things that, we will be engaging with and redefining along this way of opening our mindset. And the guides are like, we got it all. And I'm like, they do. And when they say we got it all, I translated that. They probably were like, we have it all. I'm just kidding. No. But, when they say we've got it all, your spirit team will train you. They train you. They train you. That's what they do. They train you. You're being trained. But to get more of your training and step more into your authority, you got to let go of the false learning, right? Yeah. They're reminding me to go back to the point I was saying earlier that in addition to uh, turning inward for your own re-establishing that inner authority, you must turn to activate the heart chakra. Activate it. Do it. Breathe into the chest area. Do your somatic exercises. Do your emotional freedom technique, your tapping. Get into trauma therapy, whatever the modality is that you are guided towards. And again, go inward to ask what's best for you. Some of you, it'll be journaling. Some of you, they'll say go dance. Some of you, it'll be like go paint. Some of you, go cook. Some of you, join this gym class. Whatever it is. Some of you, chat with your friendly local healer, right? Or somebody else who's more local to you, right? Some of you will be directed to pick up religious texts and be directed to certain passages and be told how to interpret it. Because you can pick up a book and people with different consciousnesses will receive the energies of that book in different ways and make it mean different things. And if you don't believe me, understand that wars have been fought over a book that someone else elsewhere built communities out of, right? So what the only difference here that the words haven't changed, it's the person reading and interpreting it. So you must turn inward, activate the heart chakra so that you can receive the information that's coming to you from whom? Your higher self. Yes, they're helpers. We have ascended masters. We have mystery schools in the non-physical dimensions that you travel to at night. Some of you do so with your out-of-body experiences and astral traveling, right? Um, but And yes, some of you will ask for archangels to help you. You'll ask for your ancestors. You ask for your spirit team, your all of these people. But at the end of the day, you are your own authority. Okay? That's a hard lesson to learn because we're so entrained. And take it from me, because my guides have been helping me a lot with this. I come from complete compliance, complete compliance. If I told you how much compliance, you would be shocked. Okay? So you can make the journey, right? So it's about getting back to the only authority that has any real insight into your actual value and in your actual care and feeding. It's you. Okay. And anyone who keeps you separate from that by keeping you dependent on them, by feeding you doctrine that separates you from self, that adds ideas of shame and guilt and grief to you, that links it to actions that you take, all these things, it's warfare on the mind. And I don't want to say warfare, I usually wouldn't, but that's the word that came through. And I think that's to speak to some of you who have certain mindsets. So it kind of grabs you in. It's all discourse, right? And so, but it's at its finest, it's an attack on your own consciousness. So you must make the decision to reclaim your sovereignty. And you start that by releasing yourself bit by bit from the programming around you, turning into yourself, learning to pause, give it up to your higher self, source, God, whatever you works for you, the Tao, focusing on the heart chakra, asking the heart to take control, to take command, and then releasing, going about your business, and allow insight to come to you. They want to give it to you when you're least expecting it because your conscious mind is not trying to control things, right? You're in the receptive state. And through that space, they will be cycling a lot of stuff for you. Some of you, I'm seeing in 4 years' time, you're gonna be so much more active in spaces you can't even fathom right now. So just understand that you're having a lot of energies coming in. I do see also some psychic protection coming in for you, which is great. Woo! Because when we do start to take part in these practices and do and you know open up, quote unquote, to receiving more of ourselves, it's important to make sure that you are doing so with the appropriate teacher. Again, you have a lot of people on staff in a non-physical who are helping you. And I'm talking about people who on this planet, beings who on this planet would be considered master therapists, master physical doctors, master alternative medicine people, master scientists, master everything. We got all that on the other side. Why do you think it's here on Earth? Earth is just a reflection, a low frequency reflection of what is already over there. And it's the innovations and stuff don't come from us. They're dropped into consciousness. From where? Beyond this planet, from other dimensions. And so that's the importance of being able to understand how to get into the receptive state. And for a lot of you, that starts with breathing. Well, okay, wow, what is that? That's coming through for somebody. Okay, that's for somebody. But I was going to say breathing, meditation, right? Stilling the mind is what they're saying. Changing diet for some of you. Reversing the flow of energy in your field. That's very specific, but that's for somebody, and you'll know who you are. Um, but the psychic protection is coming through to assist you until you better understand how to protect yourself, right? Because a lot of people are like, I want to go. What are people? I want to do out of body experiences. I want to go dream walking. I want to go all these things, but they have no idea the realms they're going into. And so, yeah, a lot of people want to do the ayahuascas and all this, but they have no idea what they're getting themselves into. And you will have protection from these things until it's deemed that you should know better. And if you're not paying attention and stuff, right? So be serious about your spiritual hygiene. Be serious about what it is that you're trying to undertake. Some of you are wanting to do medical, they're saying medical theory. That's interesting. Yeah, so a lot of you may be taking a more academic approach to a lot of these things. Yes, where are writers at? Where are authors at? Where are our academics at? Because you also play a role in disseminating this information. This information. Okay. So you're going to have to be mindful in what you put out there, and you will have your own guides and your own teams to help you to make sure that you are disseminating information that is in its highest. All right. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and leave this energy here. Thank you guys. Thank you, everyone. Isn't this the cutest card ever? Oh, so cute. Look, look at that angel. Love it. All cosmic like. So I like this. It's kind of giving this vibe that the we have a lot of angelic help, which we do. We have a lot of help, not just from the angelic realms, but in other realms too, that are helping to soften the energies that are coming onto the planet so that what? So that we can receive it properly. If we just received a lot of our own energy, because our own energy is potent, if we just received our own energy, we'd blow up, right? Just like that. So that's why you see a lot of people getting initiations and things. And like I said, getting into things without being properly primed in a sense, and you see that it can really put stress on their body or their mind, or they may have like something big like an accident or something, because why? It's simple energy. The energy, if it's very strong, it hits the field, and energy is going to be made manifest. If you have a non-physical impact of something, it's going to reverberate in the physical, right? And so that's why it's important to make sure that when you're doing even these healing sessions and stuff, and watching these binaural beats or whatever, and all these things that you're seeing online, that you're making sure that you set the intention to receive only what you can handle. And you're not jumping from one session to another, next, back to back to back to back, because all you're doing is you're disturbing the field in a way that you're not going to be unless you can process it quickly. I have met some clients who, as we're bringing in the energies, they're such a their energy field is such an old hand at this, that it's boom, boom, boom. They're processing quickly. That's just how their body, their energetic anatomy can metabolize. So it's a kind of little bit of a mastery there. But not everybody can just take all of it in such a big chunk, right? So you have to make sure that you're processing properly. Anyway, and so you want to be with practitioners and stuff who align with your consumption and can help you with that. Anyway, ask your guides. All right, guys, if you'd like to work more closely with me, you know where to find me at the Etsy link. And until then, God bless you, you bless you, and keep doing your best. That's all we can do, right? Mwah. Love you. Bye.